goal is to find the real self, to abide in the real self. Abiding in the real self means that I realize that I am the permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. If that is so, then I am not body, mind, intellect, and ego. So we start with the journey. Om Sahana Vavatu. May we together move. Sahana Bhunaktu. May we have a delight in our study. Delight in our study means that yes, I have an intense desire to find the real self. Sahaviryam Karva Vahi. Together we perform. Perform with a vigor. Perform with a vigor means I analyze, I contemplate and reflect and reach to that state. Tejasvinavadhi tamastu. Our study should be filled with real brilliance, leading to the knowledge. And we should not give ourselves to any kind of hostility, duality, envy, and conflict. So, that state of the mind is the mind of a seeker. That state of the mind is the mind of a seeker. If we do not have that mind, then it is not possible to reach to that state. And the summary of the preparatory steps that I am a seeker. The seeker has a questioning mind, qualified seeker. Questioning mind, I am in stress. Are you really in stress? Who is experiencing the stress? It is the mind. But the mind cannot exist without the body. Hence, I am the mind in the body. Questioning mind. Questioning mind. Okay, if I'm not the body and the mind, then where is the stress? The stress lives in the mind, but I'm not the mind. Let us see. So the moment this I-ness drops from being the mind and the body, the stress is gone. Think. We have to contemplate and reflect. So the seeker has a questioning mind. He should not be scared of asking the questions to the teacher also. So you see that, but to have that mind, I have to get rid of my past. Otherwise, the past says, I know what is real self, what is body, what is mind, I have a pain, and you are ignoring my pain and stress. So that is why we say that a person should be approached to the teacher with a humility. Humility means that I keep aside my ego pertaining to the body and the mind. If I don't keep aside my ego, then the mind continues to exist. Really? If the mind continues to not exist means it continues to force what it had perceived in the past. And what it has perceived, mind perceives the world. Mind and the world are the same. Mind does not go anywhere. World is gone, mind is gone. Delusion is gone. Nature is gone. Matter is gone. So these two, that is why I explained you in a different way. 360-degree understanding. Goal is the real self. Then comes the listening and learning and contemplation and reflection. In that state, we recognize, we realize. So, this great master starts the journey with what is existence. But first 5 chapters is all about existence. Existence means truth, real. But then, how to recognize that real and the truth? By consciousness. So, in the first 6 verses, he says there is only one consciousness, in the waking dream and the sleep state. And then further he goes beyond that. In the first, I would say, another 5 or 6 verses, he proves logically, without any religion, dogma, belief, mantra, practice. In another 5 or 6 verses, he will prove logically that we are Sat Chit Anand. We are absolute consciousness, absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss. And then he reveals what are the challenges that we have not to recognize that existence, how the mind creates that delusion. And the second 5 chapters we go to what exactly is the consciousness and what exactly is ananda, the pure happiness. Pure happiness. So I'm not going deeper. Verse 1 and the verse 2 covers the first necessity, requirement that am I a seeker? So that I covered with 360-degree understanding. So keep in your mind. Then we enter into the self-inquiry. Self-inquiry. Why self-inquiry? Because we have many doubts. I'm repeating today. Doubt regarding the validity of the teaching. So this master clarifies beautifully. Then doubt regarding the object to be real. What is the object? I am the real self. Real self is within me. I don't know physics, I have to go out. I don't know chemistry, I have to go out. But I am the real self. I am where I am. I am here and now. And that real self means it always exists. It is always present. So I have lot of doubts about that real self. That is why we have to continue the journey. Then while searching, while discovering this real self, we have lot of distractions. The mind goes into the world. I told you, mind does not go anywhere. Mind is the world. So as long as the mind is the world, forget about realizing. That is why in our Mondays and Thursdays session, we are entering into self-absorption. My word is not there. The mind is also not. And another problem is the projection. So we have to get rid of all these in order to, how to get rid of it? And that is why we have our intellect. 4 types of intellect. I'm not repeating, just reminding you. 4 powers of the intellect and the 5 great virtues the intellect achieves, intellect acquires. When we acquire that level of intellect, then we can remove all the 4 doubts. And when you remove all the 4 doubts, you are already there in the real self. So, just to remind you, the first verse is salutation to the revered Shankarananda. Shankarananda was his teacher of the master. Salutation. So gradually we start with the physical salutation of Namaste, and then we go little deeper and we reach to a point we are aware. Is the ego constantly haunting me, or I have kept the ego aside? That is what the salutation is. So whether you do Namaste or not, it doesn't make any difference. But in the beginning, we have to start. Where lotus feet gave birth to a guru. Lotus feet means I crushed my intellect, then it gives, no, ego, then it gives birth to a guru, means the knowledge that dispels the ignorance. You see the meaning, the way it has to be understood with a great delight and immense delusion. With a great delight, immense delusion, great delight that I have found my guru, and immense delusion. What is that immense delusion? Do you still remember the sole action of the Guru is to devour the crocodile of delusion? I have already explained you the mind. I did not understand. Crocodile has taken one about turn. The praise there. Then my mind has gone somewhere. The second round. That level of awareness is required to reach to that state. And now you see that in the second verse, he says, the pair of the lotus feet of the Guru for those whose minds are purified through service. Service. You are serving the mind at a higher level. In the beginning, you serve the teacher physically, mentally, emotionally, and but gradually you reach to that state for easy understanding of the real self. What is required? The discernment is required. I have to repeat it in order to help your mind to live into that state. And then 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 verses. Third verse. Third verse says, objects of sense organs, they are the object of knowledge. Clear? You are an object of knowledge. I am an object of knowledge for you. Object of knowledge is the monitor. Maybe I will, I will cover the magic in these 4 verses. It can be explained in a different way, so hold on to it. That's why I'm repeating. The third verse says about the waking state. The waking state. I'm waking, senses going outside. It picks up their objects. So, object of knowledge, variety of object and variety of experiences, plus consciousness is always one. Due to their perception in the waking state, they are seen to be different from each other. What it means? It means the object of knowledge of the monitor is different than the knowledge of Janice, knowledge of Stephen, knowledge of Samir, knowledge of computer, knowledge of the wall. They are different from each other. They appear different from each other. So the variety of objects and variety of experiences. Why variety? Because they are different from one another. Totally different from them. But perceiving consciousness, the subject, the knower, seer, is only one. That has to be understood, contemplated, reflected again and again and again. Now, the same thing happens in the dream state. We have the dream object, we have the dream experiences, but this physical body keeps lying down on the bed. I'm seeing another dream body in the dream. That is why in 1 minute I cover 1 year of event. With this body, you cannot cover. See that? See that? Understand that clearly. What a beautiful way to this master is helping us to understand where we are. So, in the dreaming state, what is in the dreaming state? We also have variety of object, but dream object, variety of experiences, dream experiences. Tiger chasing me, I have a heart attack, I wake up, heart attack is gone. It's a dream heart attack. It's a dream heart attack. You see that? It's a dream tiger is chasing. I have an acute pain. That is into the dream body. That is why I don't feel the pain in the physical body when I wake up. So that is how beautifully he compares so beautifully. Why we compare? In order to understand. What to understand? What is the real self? What is the real self? So the dream state. So one is the waking state and other is the dream state. What points he brings, that needs to be understood and we should be aware. Beautiful point that he raises. He says in the dream state, it is a dream object, it's a dream experiences. It is not steady. It is present for a few seconds and few minutes. But as compared to the dream state, the objects and experiences of in the waking state seems to be stable. How seems to be stable? Have you seen me last week? Yes. Last Thursday? Yes. Last Monday? Yes. Last Saturday? Yes. So it seems to be stable. It seems to be, but in the dream it does not seem to be stable. What a beautiful point of awareness. Why he said it is stable. He is pointing that both are the same. As I see the dream objects and dream experiences, so I have the waking objects and waking experiences. You think they are stable, they are not stable. Maybe Monday you'll hear the news this body has gone. So, as compared to the dream, why he is comparing? He says, oh, recognize this is not stable. Nothing is stable in the world, it is constantly changing. Don't have a misconception, don't have a delusion about it. The world is constantly changing. So, that is why, how beautifully in two-liner, he says, similarly in the dream state, we see the variety of objects and variety of experiences, but the and dream objects and dream experiences are not steady. Where the waking state, they seem to be steady. I'm using the word they seem, they appears to be steady, but it's still little changing. They are different from each other. So what is the conclusion? Waking state is different from the dream state. Dream state is different from the waking state. But only one consciousness. But only one consciousness. So how beautifully that is very clear. Clarity. We will go to the magic after this sleep state. Now in the sleep state, what is the sleep state? Body and the mind both are not there, but in absence of experience. After waking, I experience the absence of object. So that absence of an object is also an absence of experience. It means the object is still there, but it is an absence. That is one. And the second experience I have is peace and happiness. I experience so much of peace in the deep sleep. So in the sixth verse, Master says, what the Master says, that consciousness is distinct from object. That consciousness is distinct from all the experiences. One does, Stephen, one in US, he's in Colorado. He asked me to have a time to chat. Breathing for corporate or breathing for success, something like this. Brian. So he said, I have an enlightening experience. I said, hold on. Yes, what do you want to say? I said, does that experience still present? No, that is not present, but I have an enlightening experience. I said, that enlightening experience comes and goes. When the experiences comes and goes, you don't have that state of enlightenment. Why? Are you and your experiences are the same? A very intelligent genius. He said no. So how can you say you are enlightened? You had an experience of enlightenment, but you are not. You are away from it. Why I raise that issue? Just because of the sleep state. Sleep state. So in the sixth verse, the master says, what the master says, consciousness is present. When it is present? In all the three states. It is the same consciousness. Consciousness, it is the same. When it is the same? Today is the same. Yesterday it is the same. Week after, days, weeks, months. Oh, days, weeks, months. You are saying it? Days, weeks, and months, they are the same? Yes. And that is what the real self is. I believe you are getting it. So we are moving into another magic by these four verses. I need a mind of a seeker. I need an intellect of a seeker to observe this magic. Magic. So let us start with the waking, dreaming, and the sleeping. Three states, one consciousness pervades in all the three states. That is what we understood, the variety of objects and variety of experiences and one consciousness behind it. But I am not awakened to that. It is there because I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming, I'm waking. Go back. Do you remember the four challenges, four doubts? So we are trying to remove those four doubts altogether today. So, the moment we remove the four doubts, what happens? That false I dissolves. And the false I dissolves, it gives rise to the pure consciousness. I'm going slowly, but it's not a big deal with this magic that I'm trying to present to you through these four verses. Master proves that the real self is consciousness. So whether I say consciousness, it is nothing but the Satchidanand, it is nothing but the absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss. Do you know the object of knowledge? Like you, he, me, she, monitor, many categories. Object of knowledge is Dennis. Object of knowledge is Samir. Object of knowledge is Terry and Stephen. Object of knowledge is Wall, and object of knowledge is also this guy. Knowledge of the Wall. That is what we see, the knowledge of the Wall, knowledge of the Dennis, knowledge of the Terry are different. This knowledge of the Dennis is different from the knowledge of Wall. Knowledge of Wall is different from the knowledge of Monitor. Master says you are wrong. Master says you are wrong. That is the purpose of these four verses. Even though I followed the same pattern in the beginning, but now I am saying when I say knowledge of Dennis and knowledge of the wall are different, yes, I see them different. Master says you are wrong. How weird. So Master does not uh, leaves that. He says, I will answer you, don't worry about it. Magic. We are going into the magic. Knowledge of Stephen is different from the knowledge of Janice. Master says you are wrong. Let us examine where the knowledge is taking place. In me. Knowledge is taking place in me. It takes place in me. So when I say knowledge of the wall, it appears as if the knowledge is taking place in the wall, but the wall is inert and the knowledge cannot take place in the wall. Supra-rational reasoning with a cause and effect. Do you see that? Genius of the master. That is what I say, the magic. Knowledge of the monitor. I have a knowledge of the monitor. Yes, we normally say. Master says you are wrong. Why you are wrong? So first he says, ask the question where the knowledge is taking place. Knowledge is taking place in you, in me. So why you say it is the knowledge of the wall, as if the knowledge is taking place in the wall? The wall is inert, and whatever is matter in the inert, the knowledge cannot take place. Consciousness is not there. What is the consciousness? It is the knowledge. I believe you will pick up. You all will. The wall becomes the holder of the knowledge. Monitor becomes the holder of the knowledge when I say knowledge of the monitor. But the wall and the monitor are inert. It is not conscious. How it can be the knowledge of the wall? How it can be the knowledge of anything, any object? Knowledge of object? Another problem that comes when I say knowledge of monitor, knowledge of wall, knowledge of fan, so it means there are many knowledges. I'm using a wrong word for the right understanding. So I have many knowledges. Am I clear? Say yes. Even if you don't understand, you say yes. So knowledge of the wall, knowledge of the money. Oh, I have many knowledges. I'm using the wrong English word for the right reason. How knowledge can take birth and it die? It takes birth and die. That is the third problem. Our master says what it means. I see Dennis, knowledge of the Dennis. Now this knowledge dies when I say knowledge of the Stephen. This knowledge dies when I say knowledge of the Terry. When I say knowledge of the wall, no, it dies. Please, two problems. Magic, knowledge never dies. We know it. It is our experience. I may forget. Knowledge never dies. So when I say knowledge of the wall, it dies, replaces by the knowledge of the monitor, dies, knowledge of the lamp, knowledge of the fan, and so on. Knowledge of the wall is wrong. So what is right? When I say knowledge of any object, it means that object is the holder of the knowledge. It means that knowledge is dependent on that object. It means that object has to be conscious, but it is not conscious, it is inert. How can you say? Is wall conscious of itself? Is the monitor conscious of itself? No, big no. Another problem that comes, what that comes? If I say the wall is the holder of the knowledge, and if the wall falls down, knowledge also falls down. Dennis, are you looking at the logic? That is the magic. That is the magic he plays with these four verses. That is the explanation of the first four verses we have been understanding in couple of the sessions. That is why he say magic. Death of the wall and the death of the monitor means the knowledge will die. It means the knowledge will die. It means the knowledge will have modifications. Knowledge cannot have any modifications. Our experiences is not right. It is incomplete. Knowledge of the wall is happening in the consciousness, and it is in me. I am the consciousness, it is happening in me. What you are talking about, then what is the truth? In the consciousness alone, there is an object called wall. In this consciousness, there is an object which is called Dennis, which is called Stephen, which is called Jack. Do you see that? Are you reaching to that? I'm consciousness. So, what is happening? It is one consciousness, it is one knowledge appearing through the wall, appearing through the monitor, appearing through the Dennis, appearing through the Terry, appearing through the Samir, appearing through the Stephen, appearing through the computer. What is it? So why you said it is wrong? So you don't say it is the knowledge of the wall, you say it is the wall of knowledge. Don't say it is the knowledge of the Dennis, you say it is the Dennis of knowledge. Why? Inert matter, consciousness, knowledge. Do you see that? Can you see this clearly? When you see it clearly, the magic has taken place. You are the real self. Master says, what more to say? But he says, I know you have still the doubts, and I will carry you to the 15 chapters to remove all the doubts. Look at the beauty and the magic. No, I don't believe you. You say that wall of knowledge and wall of darkness. I know you have a doubt. No worries, I'll remove this doubt again. Where is this? Knowledge of the hand. Right? So when I say knowledge of the hand, the light is falling on the hand. That light does not depend on the hand. Now tell me, is the light not present beyond the hand? It is present. Is the light not present in the absence of the hand? It is present. That is the simple answer. So in ignorance, I say the knowledge of the hand. Now the hand is still there. I say the hand of the knowledge because that knowledge is the light. It is not only pervading all around the hand, it is also pervading here there. Huh? So what's the problem of saying the hand of knowledge? It is such a great magic. Do you see that? My mind, because of the illusion and delusion in the impurity, I focus only on the object and I remove that awareness, how that focus is gained on that object. So it's a knowledge of the hand. No, it is the hand of the knowledge. That knowledge, that light is all pervading, not only on the hand. Consciousness is all pervading, not only on Janice. It is our daily experience, not only on the Janice. It is also on the Stephen. It is also on the Terry, semi, monitor, computer, wall, fan, everything. How can you say it is the knowledge of an object? It is the object of wall of knowledge. That is the magic. Master is saying, just live into this awareness. What else you need? You will find out what it means by, you will find out what it means by go back to the few sessions of 360-degree understanding. I did not explain that 360-degree understanding from the magic point of view. Today I am picking up. Because in those sessions you will not be able to understand what this master is talking about. So from this magic I created that topic of 360-degree understanding. Every master has a different ways of teaching. Knowledge of an object. Contemplate and reflect on it. Knowledge of a clock. Here it is. So the clock means the knowledge is dependent on the clock. Okay, means that clock has a consciousness, means it is not inert. Now the clock falls down and breaks, the knowledge also dies. No, I still know the clock. Do you see that? I still know the clock. It has come, it has gone. What it means, the knowledge or the consciousness appearing as a clock, appearing as a Danish, where it is happening here. Appearing as a Danish, so I know Danish, appearing as Danish. What it means all knowledge is one. It cannot be knowledges. I use the wrong word for the right reason. It cannot be knowledges. All knowledge is what? All knowledge is one. Knowledge of the wall is one knowledge. Knowledge of the David is second knowledge. Knowledge of if I live in ignorance. Knowledge of Daniel is third knowledge. Knowledge of Stephen is fourth knowledge. Knowledge and so on. Knowledge of an object is wrong and false. Because objects are inert. Objects are inert. Matter. Inert and matter cannot be conscious. Knowledge cannot take place in them. Knowledge takes place where? In consciousness. 4 verses we have already seen. Waking, dream, sleep. One consciousness behind it. Knowledge is sentient. Sentience means knowledge is alive. Knowledge means awareness and conscious. When we say knowledge of many objects and many experiences, I am proving What I'm proving. I start with a geometry theorem. Have you studied geometry? So it takes a wrong stand and then it goes on proving, and ultimately the magic comes. That is how the magic is there. So we should correct our perception. We should move from the false to the real. We should move from the ignorance to the wisdom. We should move from the death to the immortality. What is the death? Clock dies, knowledge remains. Wall is crashed. This body will one day bye bye. Knowledge. Will the knowledge die? Oh, that crazy guy was teaching us. This is the real meditation. This is the choiceless awareness. Every day, thousands of knowledges. One knowledge takes birth and dies. Then second knowledge takes birth. Knowledge depends on the object. That is what I want to prove. But this is wrong. Knowledge is the property of an object. This is wrong. It is not true. Knowledge means what? I am conscious. For example, I am conscious of a flower. Flower is not conscious of me. So it is the flower of knowledge, it is the wall of knowledge, it is Dennis of knowledge. Do you see? Dennis of knowledge. Stephen of knowledge is one, consciousness is one. By understanding, we drop and destroy that ignorance. Mind is not going outside. In delusion, there is a misunderstanding, delusion, misconception, misinterpretation. Why I have such misunderstanding? Because of the delusion. Because I have an incomplete knowledge. I have an incomplete knowledge and experience. I have a wonderful experience of the pasta is not experiencing that. I am experiencing. Pasta is not experiencing that, oh, I love you because you like me in the plate. Did it happen anytime? Tell me. This is the beauty. The same example, when the light falls on the hand, I told you, knowledge of the hands in the presence of the light. Knowledge of the hand in the presence of the light. I am equating the light with the consciousness. So, what do you think? Is light not present all around us? Yes, it is present. Is light limited to the hands only? No. Or to any object? No. Light is all pervasive. Consciousness is all pervasive. Appears as if limited to the hands only, as if it appears limited to the dance only, and then my mind interprets in ignorance its knowledge of the dance, knowledge of the story. We have to cover 15 chapters, but the way, the foundation he laid is a matter of understanding. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. So closing the eyes means what? Not only it means being comfortable, being carefree, being steady, it also means the magic. Knowledge of the eyes or the eyes of the knowledge. Just pick up. Just be aware. Eyes does not say that I have closed myself. Now go ahead. Who says you? Who is you? Consciousness. Just see that. Is it possible to live into that state all the time? You need not to go and declare and start teaching this subject to others. So you are teaching to 20 people and they are in ignorance. They will prove that you are wrong and you are crazy. Only it is for the seeker. So when I say close your eyes, it means you have a knowledge of the senses, and then now you turn the table around. Knowledge of the stillness in the body. Turn around, my friends. I'm simply saying turn around. Body of knowledge, stillness of knowledge, comfort of knowledge. That consciousness appearing as stillness in the body. That is how we give wrong interpretation, the knowledge of the stillness in the be carefree. Pay attention again, be carefree. Thought has come. What is being carefree? Thought comes and goes. Who is watching? Is the thought watching that it is coming and going? You'll become very clear. You're not doing any practice, it's a non practice. You're just aware. Am I driving the car or the car is driving me? We have such a wrong notion, delusion, ignorance, misunderstanding of our existence. I'm not saying anything, I'm saying just to turn around. Knowledge of the first thought, it has come and it has gone. So the knowledge of the absence and the knowledge of the thought, I have two knowledges. Or turn around. That is your meditation. I'm not saying anything. You are living into that state. You see how our great masters have discovered and developed thousands of techniques depending on the temperament of an individual or a seeker. Those who are primary seeker, totally ignorant, they are more visceral, body oriented. We have all those kundalini meditation and other stuff. Even below that, we have Hatha Yoga. Our masters have never left anything. There's nothing that can more be created in this Eastern wisdom. So, you look at this, let us let us go to the breath, and you're watching the breath, you're aware of the breath, and you see that I have added couple of elements. Do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Why? I-ness will return. You're just seeing. Is the knowledge of the breath? We say no. When you are aware of the breath, you are the knower of the breath, and that knower is different from the movement of the breath. We are saying the same thing in a different way. But this master is totally different. He hammers our mind and intellect, and he says, understand this clearly once and for all. Live into that state of knowledge, not the knowledge of. Breath of knowledge, One breath goes in of knowledge, mind goes to the consciousness. One breath comes out of knowledge. You see, you go back again and again to yourself. When you say knowledge of the breath, you have to go back to the breath again and again. But the breath is inert, it is energy, it is life force. Thought is inert and life force. Do you remember the four powers of the intellect? The dharana intellect. Power to hold on. Hold on to what? Hold on to this awareness. Wall of knowledge, flower of knowledge, hands of knowledge. I have already covered the basics. So you need not to forget that. If you forget, you are gone. Om Namah Shivaya. Knowledge of the mantra. Om, pure consciousness. Om of knowledge. That is how the Om is pure consciousness. Namaha. I can go on. You can pick up anything from the Eastern wisdom, it takes you there. That is the magic of this master. Namaha means I am not, or I am not the body and the mind. How can you say that I am not the body and the mind? I have a knowledge of the body. It is my body, hence I am the body. And simple answer. Not the knowledge of the body, body of knowledge. Do you see the simplicity? When you say my body, the body is not sentient, not alive, not aware, not conscious. Oh my God. Oh, that clearly shows that I am not the body. In sleep, body and mind is not there. I still exist. That also proves. That is how he explains, he summarizes lot of teachings. But indirectly, only those who are seeker, who have been studying and understanding, who are committed. You see that I am not the body. Now I am not the mind. I made a crossing reference that the mind is the world. World is not there, mind is not there. Mind does not go anywhere. This is the highest principle. Mind goes everywhere. That is the lower principle. Both are true. I don't want your mind to think that I'm contradicting. That is true with reference to another principle. This is true with reference to today's talk. Or simply pick up. It is the thought of knowledge or knowledge of the thought. Thought is matter. 10 years ago, I had a thought of depression. That knowledge continues to exist. And if the thought of a depression is conscious, it will not die. Does your mind feel the need to hold on to something? No, but let me complete this. Shivaya. So that is why we have millions of gods and goddesses. Knowledge of the Shiva. No. Shiva of knowledge. Consciousness appearing as Shiva. Appearing as Krishna, appearing as Guru, appearing as a different variety of objects. Not only that, my friends, not only that. So if the object is there, so experiences should also be there. So it is the experiences of knowledge, not the knowledge of experiences. How come? That is the knower. You are just reflecting. Reflecting means awareness. Awareness means you are just now focused only on the knowledge of the object or the object of knowledge. Now, in the whatever thought, feeling, emotion, experience is taking place, you perceive from this awareness, and that is all. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both palms. Place it on your eyes. Consciousness is appearing on your hands. You see that? If you take that way, you are still into that state. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the lesson. And my summary, my takeaway is that we experience multitude of objects only because of imperfect and incomplete perception that is limited by senses and the mind. When it is not limited by the senses, the knowledge is one and objectless, and the real knower and the knowledge is the same and one. And when we say that it is not the knowledge of object, my understanding that we mean by that the knowledge does not depend on the object. The knowledge does not belong to the object. That it is vice versa. It is the object that depends on the knowledge. If there is no knowledge, there is no knower, then it is impossible to perceive that object. And if the perception is of object, if something is perceived as object and not one and whole, it means that this perception is limited, it is impure. That is my take.
Beautiful, beautiful summary, beautiful. You have explained object knowledge. Object is not conscious. We cannot say it is the knowledge of any object because you are an object for me. But can I see the broader picture that the way the light is falling everywhere, but I focus on the hand? No. Remove that focus and see. Then I say hands off knowledge. Knowledge, consciousness appearing as hand, as Janice. Beautiful summary. Beautiful. Thank you. How are you, Stephen?
Sure, thank you. There's a lot in there, and a lot of logic that's tied to it. And I found myself going around in circles with it, and then tried to simplify it, and really bringing together the concept of understanding the objects, understanding matter, inert objects, and things like that. Knowledge is consciousness.
Yes.
And that's very clear. And so how I was trying to tie it together is, going back to proving, you're using geometry of consciousness being one, is the fact that, is it true that each one of us has the knowledge of the same thing?
Yes.
I know Dennis, you know Dennis,
yes.
We know Sidmead, we know Terry, know me, and whatever it is, it's a shared knowledge, therefore it's the single consciousness.
Beautiful.
And that's what I kept bringing back and thinking through that and going, there's probably a lot more in there, but I needed to start with the basic concept. So that's where I was at. And the meditation was just very, very quiet until I started going back into that circle of trying to unravel the lesson. So thank you, and I'll listen to it again.
Beautiful, beautifully said in a different way than is knowledge. We all share knowledge, and that knowledge is only one. But through the mind, that knowledge appears as Terry, appears as Stephen, appears as Janice and Samir. But That knowledge is one. And knowledge is consciousness. So that is why he is bringing this together. This beautiful, great master. How are you, Samir?
Sir, today, today meditation was very deep. Means it seemed like it was very few times it happens. I was totally feeling different from my body.
Good.
Means I it was it was like there's two different things. Me and my body means I could means clearly see the difference between me and my body
Beautiful.
today, and it was totally consciousness, and this prana was free flowing in my body, whole meditation, and only words were there. Your
Yes,
means
you are right. So you are talking of the outcome when I see the knowledge of a mouse, and then I have a complete perception, the mouse of the knowledge, and then I see this mouse is different from me. When I see the body of the knowledge, ah, body is just an object, it's okay. That idea, that understanding, that perception comes to us that I'm not the body. Beautiful. How are you, Terry?
uh, yeah, it seemed to me like the whole thing, if you talk about it, the pivot is the word of, and how
Yes.
you define it.
Yes.
So I was trying to understand it that way, but I found that it was, there was something else that where I wanted to just not try to define it and just, there was
Yeah.
like a deep place that had no words.
What is something else? I have a knowledge of the Terry. At the same time, that consciousness also has a knowledge of Dennis, of Samir, of Stephen. It is happening simultaneously. So it cannot be the knowledge of the Terry. It has to be the Terry of knowledge, because that consciousness is all pervading. And that is me. I am the consciousness. Yes, it appears very simple at the intellectual level, but I have been telling you, if we don't become the seeker, then this causes lot of challenges. Then the mind concludes the teachers are crazy, the books are crazy, everything is crazy except me. Why except me? Because I'm the craziest.
Well, if you have knowledge of something, are you saying that the knowledge
Of something,
belongs to that thing?
knowledge of something is science. Now I can bring
knowledge of
something
it's
is
my
science.
knowledge of you, or how you define the word of is to me that's important as what you're saying, to figure out what you're saying.
Yes, contemplate and reflect. Knowledge of something, you can say science. And pick up any object of knowledge. Terry of knowledge, Dennis of knowledge, Girish of knowledge, Samir of knowledge, Stephen of knowledge, Monitor of knowledge. You go to the same one point. That is consciousness. That is what the spirituality is. That is what the Eastern wisdom is teaching is. So that is why we say Sarve Sham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Because I have realized it. Now what we have to start without realization by understanding. But now I have realized it. So that is what it is. Beautiful discussion. Thank you very much. We will meet again. Thank you. Namaste.